know that I love boom cards for language learning. Today I wanted to show you just a really quick trick that you can use to kind of stretch your boom cards out and get a little bit more use out of them. Did you know you could print boom cards from your library? You can. So you can download them and then use them as printable task cards. You could turn them into a quick warm-up. You could even just use them as a worksheet if you wanted to. So let's look at how you can do this really quickly. So you'll open up your library on Boom, and all of your decks are in here. Go to the action button, and this is where you can assign or create your fast plan or any of those things, but it is also where you can print. So click print, and it will start prepping cards, and it says preparing cards to print, and it will just give you a quick countdown as it is getting each of those cards ready. Up on the top, you see where it says print settings. It lets you choose the layout, so you can do 1 card per row, 2, or 3. 1 card is nice if you're planning on turning them into something that you might hang around your classroom because they're a little bit bigger. But if I was going to print this as like a worksheet for my students, I would probably print 3 cards per row so it doesn't take up just a ton of paper. Down here is a little preview of what it'll look like as you were printing. And just something that I want you to keep in mind is that these are originally like digital interactive task cards, right? So some things just aren't going to translate very well into a printable worksheet. Some things are going to translate super easily, and some things are just going to need a little tweak. So let's look at that over here. Fill in the blank, super easy. Multiple choice, super easy. Drag and drop, you're probably going to want to tell your students, hey, wherever it says drag and drop, just draw a line instead. So usually they would take this word and they'd move it to the picture that matches. Instead, just say, okay, draw a line from this word to the picture. So you make sure it's clear. This set in particular does not have any listening, but if I were to print a set for my classes that does have listening, I would just cross those off or like remove them. If I was going to do 1 card per row, I would just, not cut those out. So that way the students aren't like, how do I listen to it? Because some things just don't work as well, right? So something to consider as you are printing is just remembering that these were originally meant to be digital, so some things will not translate. However, many of them will. So just make sure you give it a quick scan and see, okay, I might need to handwrite in here, draw a line too. Or just put a line up on the top that says, hey, anywhere you see drag and drop, draw a line, just make sure you've tweaked the instructions for your students so they are not confused. There you have it. It's really, really simple to just go into your library, click action, and click print. And it just gives you another option, another way to use those resources that you have. A couple of reasons why you might want to do this. I don't know if you've ever had a student that has lost their computer privileges, but personally, I always feel like that's just as much a punishment for the teacher as it is for the student, because now you have to come up with things that you can print and just give to them. And so usually to me that feels like, oh, great, now I have a whole nother lesson plan to make. So anything that I can do that's just like, here's this, it's basically the same thing as what your person is working on next to you on their computer, it's a really good option. Or if you have a kid who's forgotten their computer or the Wi-Fi goes down or all the things that could happen during teaching, it's kind of a nice backup. It also is a good way to just kind of stretch the uses out of a deck. So maybe you're planning on using a deck for part of your lesson or for homework, and you just decide to print like 5 cards or print the whole deck and give a few cards to each kid. Use that as a warm-up activity, or hang them around the room, say, okay, go answer 5 cards. There you go. So just some reasons why you might want to do this. Keep in mind, again, it's not going to work for every single card in the deck because there are simply some things that don't print well, especially listening, right? So if you have a deck that has a lot of listening cards in it, just make sure that okay, there might be 10 cards in here that we're not going to use, but thankfully there's probably at least 30 other cards that are going to work. So if you would like to learn more about Boom, or if you have any other questions about it, feel free to drop them below and let me know. Check out my blog, senoritaspanish.com, for more information about Boom cards. Have a great day.